Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order, the first meeting of 2016 for the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District. I'd like to start, first of all, I'd like to mention welcome to all of you in the crowd tonight. Large gathering. Good to see you all here. And I'd like to start by asking Director Mitchell to lead us to the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The Metro Cable announcement, this open session meeting is videotaped for cablecast on Metro Cable 14. Replay on Sunday, January 17th, 2016 at 12 noon and Monday, January 18th, 2016 at 6 p.m. on Channel 14 or webcast at dub.sacmetrocable.tv. The open session meetings are also available for viewing on the district website at dub.metrofire.ca.gov. All right, let's get into the agenda. First of all, we're going to remove action item number 2. Take care of that. And then we'll move to the consent agenda. Are there any questions? Board members?
I'd move the consent agenda, Mr. Chair.
I will second the consent agenda. Thank you.
Moved and seconded. Madam Clerk?
Director Mitchell.
Aye.
Orzali.
Aye.
Wood.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
And Scheidegger.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Let's move to our presentation item. Chief Wells.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm going to move over here so I don't have my back to you and or I'm not hiding over there. Could I have a firefighter paramedic Chris Aiello come on up? I need you to be up here so we can see you while we talk about this great story. This is a great opportunity for Metro Fire. I can tell you that day-to-day operations out there, our people do a phenomenal job. They absolutely do. And then every once in a while, there's an extreme circumstance where somebody does something that is above that. It is, of course, expected that everywhere we go and everything that we do it at that highest level. But I can tell you that in this particular case, I want to read a narrative, and we have a short presentation here to highlight excellence in leadership at Metro Fire. So with that, on September 7th, 2015, firefighter paramedic Chris Aiello was sent on an assignment as a member of the Rapid Extrication Module Team to the Rough Fire located in the Sierra National Forest in Fresno County. The Rough Fire burned approximately 151,000 acres, making it the largest California fire in 2015. At one point during the fire, there were up to 3,700 firefighters, including hotshot firefighter crews, considered by many to be the special forces of the wildland firefighting community. While on assignment, firefighter paramedic Chris Aiello led 2 3-person rapid extrication module teams in a very difficult and dangerous extrication of a critically injured hotshot firefighter. This action alone is worthy of an award. But it was also the preparation and leadership before the incident that led to the successful rescue of the hotshot firefighter. According to Captain Wegner, who was assigned to the incident management team, firefighter Aiello took it upon himself to train in realistic scenarios before this incident ever took place. Through his leadership and preparation, the teams were ready for the challenging extrication that lied ahead. So at this time, I'd like to direct everyone to the screen as we show some photographs. Are we going to scroll through those? Okay. This is basically, and why don't we do this? In your own words, could you let us know what's going on up there? Step up here, though, where we can all see you.
I was told I didn't have to speak.
I know, but I want to do this justice because I can tell you that there's nothing like firsthand experience.
Well, this is a training that Captain Wagner had set up between his entire division and the Hume Lake Fire Department because REM is such a new concept out there. A lot of people don't really know what it is or what we do. So we've got over 100 people here, and we did a 2.5 hour training, maybe a little bit longer than that, and we tried to cover all the different aspects of being able to move a victim out.
Excellent. So basically, the photos on the screen here were taken several days before this rescue. And as you can see, firefighter Aiello initiated the low-angle rope rescue operations drill because he saw the need to prepare for these events with an otherwise inexperienced group of folks that hadn't had a lot of experience. We train a lot, but there's not a lot of actual practical hands-on experience with the rapid extrication module teams at this point. And so he took it upon himself to organize these drills in anticipation. And you have to remember, this is happening in the middle of a very dynamic incident. So when the need for the rescue team became apparent, firefighter Aiello organized 2 rescue extrication teams and placed personnel at critical locations to set up rope hauling systems where he descended to the accident site with the other members. In addition, he directed additional resources to widen the fire hand line in order to facilitate the removal of the victim. Firefighter Aiello knew where to deploy the REM personnel because he had already pre-planned and identified the area where the accident happened because it was a target hazard. It should be noted that the extrication module is new, and because of that, it is a work in progress and still has a lot of unknowns. Firefighter Aiello knew this and took the initiative and assumed the leadership role. His role was critical to the positive outcome of this extrication. Also, the situation at the accident site was described by some to be very intense and emotional. Remember, this was a hotshot crew member that was injured. They did not see injuries of this severity that often. They were concerned about their crew member and very vocal about how they felt. Firefighter Aiello did his best to reassure the crew, all the while treating the victim. In short, firefighter Aiello trained, organized, and led a multi-agency team in the extrication of a critically injured firefighter in the most extreme conditions, both physically and emotionally. He did this while maintaining a professional demeanor and upholding Metro Fire's core values. Therefore, it is with great honor that I am going to present Firefighter Chris Aiello the bronze medal representing the Fire Chief's commendation for distinguished service for his actions on September 7th, 2015. This award is for a particular service to the community or department which reflects credit upon the fire service and its highest traditions. So with that, can I have you come up front here? Get to the center here. In the center? I won't make you speak anymore, I promise. Unless you want to. Okay.
But he did so well.
Nice job.
You know I'm going to have to wear this for like 3 days straight now. Right?
4. The thing is 4. Yeah, we're going to embarrass Dad now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need a picture up here, sir.
Yeah.
They don't have to give speeches.
They might. Congratulations.
You betcha.
every minute of it, right?
All right, well done. Thank you, Chief, and especially thank you, firefighter Aiello, and to you and your crew, which demonstrate the true spirit of Metro. Thank you very much. We're very proud of you. I'd like to take this opportunity to see if there's any interest in public speakers, any interest in discussing matters of public interest from the public. Any speaking cards?
There are no speakers this evening.
Okay. Then I think what we're going to do at this point is move to closed session. Okay? I apologize for that delay, and with that, let's reconvene, and we'll go to action items. Nomination for Sacramento LAFCO Special District Advisory Committee. Ms. Pania.
Good evening, directors. Before you this evening, you have the opportunity to elect a member of our governing board to the Sacramento Local Agency Formation Commission. They are currently seeking nominations for 7 vacant seats for Office A on an advisory committee. The purpose of this committee is to provide Sacramento LAFCO with input on issues related to special districts. It should be noted that this is a 2-year term that ends December 2017. And the meetings are held quarterly on the 5th Tuesday or as needed. And currently, Director Jones is serving as an Office C commissioner. So if it is the pleasure of the board this evening to elect a member, the LAFCO would vote and hopefully have a response to us fairly quickly as to whether or not that person would serve in that seat. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Members? Questions? Comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, as Director Jones currently serves as a commissioner, I was going to ask the chief what his opinion was on whether it's in our best interest to have an additional individual there, or if this special district advisory committee that's being set up, what would be the requirement of the individual that may serve?
You know what, I'd have to maybe defer a little bit. Melissa might know a little bit more about that, but I would tell you this, that I would advise that whatever opportunities we have to sit on any commission that we can, we should do.
Okay. I guess my next question is, are there any board members that have a desire to serve in that position?
I see no one.
Know what Director Jones's position is would she like to continue?
Oh, this is a different.
This is different. She is a full commissioner on LAFCO's board of directors, or LAFCO's board, or excuse me. Yeah, it is, well. So what this looks like to me is it's a special district advisory committee. Okay. So the SDAC, it says membership of 17 is comprised of 2 LAFCO special district commissioners and the alternate special district commissioner and representatives from recreation and park, fire, water reclamation, cemetery, and other types of special districts. SDAC members serve 2-year terms without compensation. So at this time, as we stand here, I don't believe that this is the same thing that Director Jones serves in.
No.
Right. So this will be another opportunity from somebody from Metro Fire, and it looks like that they have meetings quarterly on the 5th.
Right.
I'll add that these opportunities do come up often. We previously had Director Monk serving in a role on an advisory committee,
All right.
of course, separate from Director Jones, but we've had a large presence in LAFCO. But if someone isn't able to participate now, that's not to say that an opportunity would not come again.
I'm not sure Director Barnes wouldn't be a perfect person for this spot since he's not here, you know?
Yeah, well, he expressed interest in a similar sort
Right.
of thing. Yeah, in a similar sort of thing, not exactly the same.
Right. So if nobody else, I want to say, since nobody that's sitting here right now shows much desire, I would like to have somebody contact Director Barnes and ask him what his interest is. We've got to have this in another 8 days. So consequently, this is an action item. I would move approval of appointing or putting Director Barnes's name forward to serve on this special commission.
Pending his approval.
Pending his approval, that's correct.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right.
All right. Board Clerk, please.
Director Mitchell,
Aye.
Orzali,
Aye.
Wood, Kelly,
Aye.
and Scheidegger.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you. Let's move on to reports. The President's report first. I want to state very clearly that I'm very excited to serve in this position, looking forward to it. There is a lot ahead of us, but I know that we all share a common goal of ensuring the long-term viability of this district and providing the best possible service to our citizens. One comment I wanted to make, the board needs to be thinking about our annual workshop. And to that end, I would ask the board clerk to please poll the members when you can, let's say in the next couple of weeks, and determine dates in April or May that would work. Historically, we've done this on a Saturday. I would hope we could do that again. If that's not possible, I guess we'll look for alternatives. And then also, would you also poll the members in terms of issues or priorities that they see that they would like to see included in that discussion, in that workshop? Bless you.
Thank you.
So that's the President's report. Chief Wells.
Well, thank you, President Scheidegger. I'll keep mine pretty contained tonight. Basically, probably the best thing I'm going to talk about now is we have a lot of retirements and also this award that's going to be given. On the 20th of January, Captain Adam Mitchell will be receiving the 2015 Director's Award for Superior Accomplishment in Partnership Award. And this is, he's receiving this as exceptional contributions to CAL FIRE and his role as part of the Incident Management Team 6, which developed a 5-day tour for the NASF annual meeting. This allowed California to host this event for the first time since 1980. It should be noted that Captain Mitchell is up and down the state on a lot of incident management team issues, works very closely in our training division as a training captain, and this will be at the CHP Academy on the 20th next week. And I don't have a date and time on a time on there, but we'll get it to the board and get it out. It's a great honor for him to receive this reward. Also, we have a promotion ceremony on the 21st of January. It'll be 5:30 p.m. here at the Metro Fire Boardroom. We'll be honoring 21 personnel that have been promoted. I'd also like to draw attention to the 23rd of January. The Pioneer Hook and Ladder Crab Feed is at 6 p.m. at the St. Mary's Parish Hall. Any further information you want about that, you could get that from Melissa Pania, Board Clerk. Save the date. On the 30th of January is the 2016 Pig Bowl, or Guns and Hoses game. 12 o'clock is the pregame. 1 o'clock is the kickoff at CSUS, Sac State. On the February 11th through the 14th is our firefighters Burn Institute Fill the Boot for Burns. We will be doing the Chiefs Challenge again on the 13th of February from 9 to 11 at Sunrise and Greenback. So I will be bringing around the shoe or the boot, as it were. We've been a great opportunity there. The Burn Center is something that we are near and dear to us, and unfortunately, in addition to every day of the week, they're helping people in our community, but they also are helping our men and women that work for us, so, and the regional fire departments. New hire, I'd like to welcome Community Risk Reduction Office Technician Christopher Condor, who was first day was on the 4th of January. Promotion, we had on the 1st of January, we had Captain Jason Harris and Battalion Chief Barbie Law. I'm glad to see that. We had on the 6th of January, Network Systems Administrator Ben Miller, who was promoted up when Tom Slobodnik took an opportunity elsewhere. We missed him. Importantly, we have a ton of experience walked out the door, as we normally do at the end of a calendar year. So I wanted to make special notation of the individuals that retired recently. On the 21st of December, we had Engineer Chris Kenton, who had served 28 years. On the 23rd of December, we had Engineer Jeff Harris with 27 years, Engineer Rob Humphrey, 27 years, and Engineer Larry Aubaugh had 25 years of service, and he retired on Christmas Eve. Effective on the last day of the year, which is the 31st, we had our Health and Fitness Program Manager, Chris Armstrong. He had retired after 13 years of service. He'd be greatly missed. Firefighter Devin Munns, 23 years of service. Engineer Charles Means, Chuck Means, 28 years of service. Engineer Tony Hargett, 28 years of service. Captain Jason Cornell, 26 years of service. Captain Brian Swindler, 21 years of service. Captain Randy Smith, 31 years of service. And Deputy Chief Bill Daniels, 30 years of service. Tremendous amount of experience leaving the door, and I can tell you all of them will be missed. We are very fortunate. We have a lot of young, up-and-coming folks in leadership positions, so clearly we have a future that looks grand, but we're going to miss their experience and their contribution, so thank you for that. We have a recruitment out for a dozer operator. Final filing date was extended to the 22nd of January at 4 p.m. and it's open to all firefighters and engineers. And then for just the last informational purposes, the district administrative offices will be closed at noon on Monday, January 18th, in observance of Martin Luther King Day. And with that, I would like to have Michelle Idem come up and give her PIO report. Captain Idem, thank you.
Good evening, Mr. President, directors, Chief Wells, Michelle Idem, Public Information Officer. What I'd like to talk to you about tonight is basically year-end numbers that we had. So at the end of last year, we did a lot of outreach. More importantly, it was the first year that we could ever track what kind of viewership we achieved, local viewership, which basically means if we were to put a 30-second ad out on TV, how many people we actually reached in that exact time frame on the channel we were on. So corresponding with that is a value that goes with it. If on channel 13 at 4 in the morning, it's a certain cost. Channel 3 at 2 in the afternoon, very different. So we started tracking that last year, learned that we had a solid reach in the market. We achieved 10 million, just under 11 million was our viewership for 2014. It's a great number, very excited. That had a corresponding value of just over $1 million worth of advertising. It's good. It was a good way to find out what our baseline was. Last year, or for this year, we set a ridiculous goal, and that was not my choice to set the goal that we set. Chief Holbrook set a goal of 25 million as our viewership. And again, that is absolutely a huge response from everybody that works at Metro Fire. It's from people on incidents, a battalion chief, a firefighter. It'd be community risk reduction, getting out there doing a story on smoke alarms. So it's been a huge outreach from a lot of people. But I'm excited to say at the end of 2015, our viewership was 25,494,000 people, with a corresponding value of just over $3 million worth of advertising. So with that, that was our local audience. We had multiple stories that made it to national stories, and we had one that had 16 different countries. So a lot more than that was actually reached, but that was our local that we can track. Unless you have any questions for me, that's all I have for you.
Any questions? Michelle, thank you very much for your ongoing fine work in
Thank you, sir.
representing us. Thank you. Chief Bridge.
Good evening, Mr. President. Directors, Eric Bridge, Deputy Chief Operations. Be brief tonight with a report with some of our year-end numbers as well. Since December the 10th, at our last meeting, we had a total of 8,800 calls, of which 7,100 of those were EMS-related dispatches, with a 74% transport rate. We also had 31 structure fires and 1 brush fire. Closing out preliminary numbers for the 2015, we had an increase of 7% since 2014, which totaled 94,732 total calls, of which those 71% of those were EMS related, 67,000 of those. We also had our fire calls were 2,518 structure fires. Well, I think that includes also our brush fires as well. All the other calls for service, good intent calls, false alarm type things, that total up to 24,000 or close to 25,000 calls. So unless you have any questions, that tallies up our numbers for 2015.
Board members? Chief, did I hear you correctly? There was a 7% increase in total calls?
That's correct.
7%.
Seems to be a steady anywhere from 5 to 7% over the last several years. So.
Okay, thank you. Firefighters 522. Familiar face.
President Scheidegger, Chief Wells, and congratulations. Brian Rice, President, Local 522. I'm up to address the board tonight on behalf of the firefighters. I'm sure that everybody knows we had a tentative agreement that went to a vote. The vote was Thursday, Friday. And the vote was, it was something I've never seen before. It was at a 97% no with 80% of the membership voting. And a couple of things that I was charged with by the members. I've been in 26 plus years of contract work, grievance, discipline, arbitration. I've had 2 no votes in all that time. The last one I had was with the then American River Fire Department, and I think the 80 or so people that were there had gallons of hot tar and feathers. This was not the case. We had over 500 people voting, and I don't even know how to put it, and I hope you take this right. I was really proud of them, and I want to put it in context. There was not one angry voice. They were respectful in all regards. They were well-informed and well-educated and were incredibly thoughtful in delivering the thoughts that they had and spurring debate that the membership have. Never been in a meeting like that, and I've been in hundreds of them. And what I took away from it was, yes, it's a no, and we have work to do. I know that our lead negotiator, Vice President Bailey, has already been talking to Chief Wells to get back on track and begin negotiating again. But it made me kind of stop and reflect, having been retired for 4 years, leading the local for 4, but the last time I worked on a line on an engine or truck was in 2008. And so in listening and thinking and then spending a little time since that happened, there's several things that I've learned. And one is we have a changing workforce. It's probably close to 50% is less than 5 years on the job. But what I witnessed were veteran members of the department carrying the torch for brand new members, and I witnessed brand new members carrying the torch for veteran members. I saw a great show of unity, which I haven't seen before. Usually you have those things and they're ugly, and this just wasn't the case. And it made me take a step back and look at where we are, and it made me engage a little bit more in a few of the things that I learned. And we can, I know you guys praise the men and women here. I see it. I haven't been in a while, but I know you do. And I know that you appreciate them. I went out and I started looking up call volumes and doing a comparison through the course of my career, and certainly by the time that I left. And companies that I worked on when I left, which were the busiest companies in 2008, their call volumes double. The workload on, not every company, but many, the workload on the men and women is up there, and they're doing a hell of a job in representing the district in the community and delivering skilled service. And the message that I got was, please look at the service we deliver and go back and enter into negotiations again and see what happens. And during the course of that, one of the things was that, and I think everyone understands it, we know we had one failed contract concession, but the ones that passed from 2009 were of a value of about $65 million to the district, and directly from the employees. We had one fail. I think we would have saw a slight recognition of that probably would have worked. But the biggest one, that the district knows this, and I'm sure they've carried it, the one thing that was consistent throughout every offer, and the members know this, is the retirement pickup. It's not going to leave the table. But the sunset is the sunset. We all agreed to that. And we got a lot of work to do. I think the negotiating team wants to do it. I want to do it. But as I think about the men and women and how they portrayed themselves to me en masse, when it could have been really far worse than that, they didn't take that path. They gave a really clear direction and said, as leadership, we need you to re-engage and re-engage vigorously and secure a package that we can vote on. So I hope that we can do that. But I think one of the things that woke me up was I was visiting with a crew today, and this happened in our neighborhood, and it's not on the news, and I doubt that it's going to be, but it really, for me, made me wake up and realize the landscape that these men and women deal with is completely different than the landscape I dealt with in 2008. And this crew in my neighborhood, less than 1 mile from my house, and I live in a pretty much middle-class neighborhood. They went for an outdoor fire in a parking lot, and they saw what they thought was smoke, but really steam because it was cold enough, but it was weird looking because it was in the middle of a parking lot. There was a few bystanders around, and it took them a minute after they got out and made contact for what happened to register. And what had happened was people behind him screaming, he's been shot, to the other side screaming, they lit him on fire. And the person that was injured not only was a shooting victim, he was alive, but literally a 25-year-old firefighter paramedic was responsible for delivering that person to the hospital alive. What happens after that, I don't know. The injuries were so significant, but it made me take a step back and even think about all the things that I did, home invasions and the brutal things that people did in the areas that I worked in. It made me go, I have no idea what these guys and gals are doing on a daily basis. And I don't know that any of us really could unless you do it. And for that, I will represent them to the best of my ability, and that also includes fairness. And I hope that we begin to engage this discussion, because I think there's some, I think both of us have some fire under our rear end to get something going and done. I know that you don't take your men and women for granted, but I was blown away when, just this week when I sat back and got a dose of what these guys and gals are doing on a daily basis. And I know you think about it, and, that's just one of many, but it's not been lost on me, and my job is to bring them a package that's fair and equitable to the community. And they've sat since 2008 without an increase, and I believe we're getting there. We're working on it. They've earned it. So I thank you for your time. I wish I had a better message to deliver. I hope that you take it in the right vein. I think that my charge was, don't go up there full of piss and vinegar. Deliver the message. Convey and deliver the message isn't even right. Is communicate as you were communicated to, and trying to make sure that the decision makers' eyes are open. I know priorities are everywhere along the road. Everybody's got different ones, and a portion of mine is to convince the district to consider some reprioritization. So thank you.
Thank you, President Rice. Board members, questions? President Rice, I want to thank you very much for appearing here tonight. I think you personally being here shows the importance and gravity of where we are. I think I can speak for the board when I say that you used the term a couple of times, we're not getting ugly, something to that effect. And I think that embodies the spirit that all of us feel too. All of us, as you have said many times, share deep reverence for our firefighters. And we all share the desire to resolve this in the most amicable way possible to ensure the long-term viability and protection to our citizens. So thank you again for your being here, and I sincerely hope we get to that good point soon. Thank you, Brian.
Can I say thanks, Jack?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
Director Scheidegger, if we could take a moment and go back to item 3, which is General Counsel's report, before moving on to the committee and delegate
Get
reports.
you, John. Deepest apologies.
I just blend into the woodwork.
No, you don't. Please, John.
Thank you, President Scheidegger. The board met in closed session to meet with its designated labor negotiator to discuss issues pertaining to the bargaining groups that are identified in the closed session agenda. There was no action taken. The board also met in closed session to consider the workers' compensation claim of employee Robert Judge. By a 5-0 vote, the board agreed to provide settlement authority to the district's third-party administrator in order to effectuate a settlement of that workers' compensation claim. The board also met in closed session to consider the workers' compensation claim of employee Matthew Ellenwood. By a 5-0 vote, the board decided to provide authority to the district's third-party administrator to effectuate a settlement of that workers' compensation claim. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. Next, try and keep this straight. The executive committee did meet tonight, and the major thing that was accomplished was the appointment to board committees. And I'll just recite those very quickly. Finance and audit will be it'll be staffed by Director Wood, Director Jones, Director Kelly, and the alternate will be Director Clark. The policy committee will be comprised of Director Rosali, Director Mitchell, Director Gould, and the alternate will be Director Barnes. The regional communications JPA the primary will be Chief Bridge, and the alternate will be Scott Andrews. The California Fire and Rescue Training JPA, thankfully, Director Kelly will continue to serve on that, and Director Gould will be his alternate. And at this point, the Reserve Firefighters Qualification Review Commission will be staffed by me. Any questions about any of that? All right. Thank you. Next, we'll move on to the Communications Center JPA. Chief?
The Communications Center JPA has not met since I last reported out to this board. Our next meeting is Tuesday, January 26th, and as indicated, that will be hosted by Deputy Chief Eric Bridge. I'd like to thank this board for my time on the Communications Center JPA. It was a great run. Thank you.
And this board would like to thank you for your service to this district on that. Thank you, Chief. Welcome, Chief Bridge. Next, California Fire and Rescue Training, Director Kelly.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, board members, the Fire Rescue Training JPA has not met since I last reported out. They meet again on February 18th, or excuse me, yes, February 18th, 4 o'clock across the hallway here in the ESC. So we will inform you as to the actions taken at that meeting sometime in late February.
Thank you very much. Finance Committee, Director Wood.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. The Finance and Audit Committee has not met since we last reported out. It will next meet on Thursday, the 28th of January at 5 o'clock in this room.
Thank you, Director Wood.
Thank you.
The Policy Committee did not meet. The next scheduled meeting is February 11th. With that, we'll move to board member questions and comments. Director Kelly.
Mr. Chairman, hope that you all enjoyed a nice holiday, and look forward to working with you through the 2016. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Mitchell.
Thank you, Mr. President. Hope everyone had a nice holiday. As always, I'm glad that as a unit, as a department, we made it through this time where we have increased emergencies and increased injuries in the past, and that everyone was safe. So I thank all of you for all of your diligence and your safety. Looking forward to working as a new director with this board. I think we have a lot of work to do, and looking forward just in a small way as a new director to being as helpful as I can be, and looking for the guidance of not only this board and the administration and the men and women of this district. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Director Rosali.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to reference something that President Scheidegger mentioned earlier in our planning for the board retreat in the spring. This is something that's important to me, and I'm working with Director Scheidegger and with Council Lavra in developing processes whereby we can more accurately garner the perceptions of the board, and I look forward to bringing you more information about how we're going to do that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Director. Director Wood.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't have anything to add.
Thank you. I think my final comment would be thank you all for being here, and I want to again recognize Firefighter Aiello and his notification or notice of his bravery and courage and his fine service to this fire district. Thank you all for being here, and with that, our next meeting is going to be on January 28th. Same time, same place. Thank you.